Okay, time for a new video. These are called sixth note voicings. Some people call them fiddle stops. It's essentially a two-note chord. Just really has the root and the third of the given chord. If you don't know your theory that well, if you're just a beginner, don't fret, because I'm going to explain this in different ways and I think you'll find a way to mentally grasp it. All you really have to know is your bar chords. If you are curious and you're like me and you like to nerd out on the theory, let me explain this real quick. We start with a G note and we add another note on top, the B. That's a major third above. These are the first two notes in the G major triad, which are G, B, and D. Not playing the D, just playing G and B. Now with the B note up top, let's drop it down an octave. Same two notes, but now the G is on top. The G is the melody note. This is the bright thing about this, is that the melody note is the root of the chord. So if you take any melody note you want in a given key and you know how to harmonize it, well, you can quickly thicken up each melody note with a harmony note going below. Now let's explain this through the bar chord way. If you know anything about bar chords, you know this is a G major bar chord. It's rooted on the bottom E string. Well, this right here, which is, by the way, the same exact voicing as over here, same two notes, just different placement on the neck. I went up a set of strings. It is rooted on the E string, just like your G chord, bar chord, is rooted on the low E string. Same difference here. If you know anything about bar chords, you know that lifting up your middle finger will turn it minor. Why? Because that was the B natural that you're flatting half a step to B flat, thus making it a G minor chord. So let's look at the shapes here. If I play the G on the 3rd fret, high E string, my first finger, I'm skipping a string, and then I have another note 1 fret higher with my middle finger. That's the major 3 down at the bottom. If I want to make it a G minor, I slide that down. Doesn't make a lot of sense to grab it like that, so let's flip our hand over and let's put, now I'm going to use my middle finger and my ring finger. These are not hard and fast rules. You can use whatever fingers make the most sense for you, but I find those to be the most useful. So, G major, G minor. Now you're not really going to play G major and G minor in the same song typically, so let's use it diatonically within a given key. Let's walk up the single note scale. Now let's harmonize it with those 6-note voicings. 1 is major, 2 is minor, 3 is minor, 4 is major, 5 is major, 6 is minor, and the 7th is usually considered diminished, but we're not playing a 5th here, so there is no 5th to be flatted. So it's just the 1 and the flat 3, basically the same minor voicing as the rest of the minor chords. And then up to 1 again. If we take a simple melody, sloppy, but you get the picture. Now, obviously it doesn't make a lot of sense trying to slide all the way up and down one string to play melody notes. So remember this. The same shape and voicing is used on root, the high E root, or you can also root it off of the B string, 1 string lower. Now, there's a G here, there's a G here. Same shape, same 2 fingers. This will be useful if you're trying to, say, drop down to the 5. Instead of going here, all the way up to this 5, you can go here, down 1 set of strings, rooting it off the B string, same 2 notes, D and F sharp, D and F sharp. So in a melody situation, you could just do this. Whatever makes the most sense to you. Obviously this is useful to texturize and harmonize simple melody lines, thicken them up a little bit. It could also be used in accompaniment. If somebody's down here just strumming a good old boring G chord, there's no need for you to do the exact same thing. So maybe take one of these voicings up higher out of this other person's range and a little hammer on or pull pull off to make it a little interesting, or a little step motion. Now this brings up another point. Because we are only playing 2 notes at a time, you could interpret as to exactly what chord is being played. If I'm playing a G and a B, you could say that that is a G chord, or part of an E minor chord, or part of a B minor chord. So if I go up 2 full steps, now I'm playing a B and a D, which still belong to a G major triad. So I can treat these two as kind of interchangeable when someone's strumming a G chord down below. There's a little bit of interpretation, which is a good thing. You have a little overlap you can get away with. You can even get away with that D. Now you have an F sharp in the bottom, so you could say it's a G major 7 chord. All these things kind of fly, but you use your own ear and as much as you know about theory to help you use these things. One last thing I'll mention is that you can also use this for improvisation. You know, a lot of people like to use scale type patterns, you know, using stepwise motion. Well, it gets a little boring after a while. So this might be a different approach to improvisation that would help you kind of broaden your horizons. When you have a larger interval, it literally takes up more space on your eardrum membrane and has a greater effect on the listener's ear. So you could impress the listener more by using less notes more slowly, as opposed to just trying to, you know, play a bunch of stepwise motion. Just food for thought. Hopefully this has been useful to y'all. If you don't think it was, by all means let me know, comment or otherwise. But I'm showing you because I think it's a nice tool to have in your repertoire. You know, everybody needs a different little trick in their bag of tricks, and this can be another one for you. So good luck, and I hope you find it useful.